안녕하세요, 여러분. 반갑습니다. 선현우입니다. Hello, welcome to our live class today. Welcome back to Talk to Me in Korean's YouTube channel. So today we're talking about 한국어 발음, pronunciation, Korean pronunciation, and you saw the title of this live class, pronunciation tips, and also how to speak Korean more fluently and also confidently. Confidence is the topic of today's live class, and also you cannot have confidence without the fundamental capabilities. Of course, like if you are really bad with your Korean pronunciation, if you have too much confidence, that's not good for you either. But if you have the essentials already learned and acquired, you need to have more confidence, and I will help you achieve that. I will also give you some tips on how to become more confident with your Korean skills. 네, 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. Thanks for being here early, everyone. Everybody in the chat, I saw you guys waiting in the waiting room. 반갑습니다. Hello. So I asked you before the live class began, 여러분, 한국어 발음 자신 있어요? 한국어 발음 자신 있어요? So give me, thanks for the greetings. Hello, good morning. Good morning from Seoul, South Korea. Okay, so 한국어 발음 자신 있어요? On a scale of 1 to maybe, let's say 100, from 0% to 100%, how confident are you with your Korean pronunciation? Of course, within the boundaries of your Korean skills, your Korean knowledge. 여러분이 아는 말을 할 때 얼마나 자신이 있나요? Okay, I see the first answer from Lucy Goosey Hikes. 60%, 2 out of 10 from Stray Kids. 61%, that's very precise. 70, 75, 51, minus 100. Why do I see minus 100? You don't have to feel like that. Yeah, Carla, minus 100. Maybe if you go, into the minus realm, it means that you're speaking another language, maybe 59%. So you can't be 100% confident unless you have really reinforcing experiences back to back. Like you go to one event where you speak to a ton of Korean people, everybody understands you, and you sound perfect in your opinion, and then you experience that over and over again. You're on Korean television, you're having conferences in Korean. Maybe, then you might have 99% confidence. In terms of my English, I have maybe 95% confidence. So yeah, perfect timing. How confident are you speaking English? I'm in terms of speaking English, maybe 100% because I've been using this language for a while. But pronunciation, I wouldn't give myself a score of 100 points, maybe 90 or something. But you can still have, as a learner, within the boundaries of your own level or knowledge, you can have up to 70, 80%. That's where you know the limitations. You know that some sounds you're not pronouncing perfectly well, but you also know on the other side of the spectrum that you are being understood. 그러니까 내가 한국어 발음을 할 때, 한국어로도 설명해 볼게요. Let me explain that in Korean too. 한국어로 뭔가를 말할 때 아직 부족한 점, lacking areas, 부족한 점이 있다는 거는 알고 있어요. 하지만 또 마찬가지로, 하지만 동시에 다른 사람이 나를 이해할 수 있다는 것도 알아요. That's really important. Okay? Alright, so 여러분이 한국어를 발음할 때, so let me go to the writing board. 한국어 발음 자신 있어요 is the question I asked. And today we will be talking about some elements from this book, our How to Sound Like a Native Korean Speaker book. You can get it. Oh, there's a green area, so it's kind of, transparent. But anyway, it's a really thick, big, and pretty book that you can get on our website. You can click on the link in the description for this live chat to get it now. You can check it later. But we will talk more about the general approach to become more confident in the Korean language when you speak it. So Can you give me some examples of, I already see some examples in the chat, but can you give me some examples of words that you have trouble pronouncing in Korean? 여러분이 한국어로 발음할 때 좀 어려운 단어들이 있나요? 네, 여러분이 한국어로 발음할 때 좀 어려운 단어들이 있나요? 그런 게 있으면 알려주세요. Oh, okay, I see 경향. So, examples from you guys. 경향, tendency, 계획. I'm really impressed that you can come up with like these words right away. If somebody asked me what words are difficult for you to pronounce in a certain language you're learning, I would have trouble coming up with examples right away. 계획. And the fact that you can come up with examples and give me the examples so quickly means how much you are, how deep into the Korean learning journey you are. It means you are actively learning currently. So that's amazing. If you're not studying, if you're only studying like half-heartedly, you can't think of many examples like that. 계획, 걸려요, 음료수, 빨간, 촬영하다. Let me just type everything. 겪어, 차이, 얼굴, 하대요. Okay. 어려워. Alright. 후회, 의뢰, 명령, 옮기다 할 때 Alright. Can I, Hashimoto Nagano, can I teach cuss words? No, I can't. I don't want to. You can learn a lot of cuss words, curse words from just watching a lot of Korean dramas, and yeah, no explanations needed. 동료, 꽃. All right, so here, let me quickly go over these words, and I want you to pronounce everything. Repeat after me. 경향. Repeat after me, okay? 경향. 경향 is tendency. Tendency. 계획. People, like, when they pronounce these things really quickly, they often sound like 계획. Often 계획, like that. Some people do pronounce it even like, yeah, especially news anchors and people like voice actors, they have the habit of like saying 계획, enunciating everything. 걸려요, it takes a certain time. It takes a certain time. Let me skip the translations when I'm typing. 걸려요, 음료수, beverages. 빨간, red as an adjective. 촬영하다, to record, to film something. 겪어요, maybe, to experience, like I experience. 가, 얼굴, face. 하대요, they say that they do something. 어려워, difficult, something is difficult. 후회, regret. 의뢰 is this is the most difficult part, like this difficult word on this list, in my opinion. 의뢰, some people say it like that, or some people say it like literally 의 and 뢰. 의뢰 is to, as a client, you ask for a certain task to be done. 의뢰하다. 명령, a command, 명령, order. 옮기다, to move. In this case, you don't pronounce the real. It's not 옮기다, it's 옮기다. 동료, co-worker, colleague, 꽃, flower. Okay, so, oh, that's a good one. 어울리다. 어울리다 is a good one. 어울리다 is, I mentioned it before in a previous video or live stream, I think. 어울리다 is one of those words that a lot of Korean speakers who grew up overseas, again, Korean speakers who grew up overseas speaking another language as their mother tongue, they often mispronounce this because 어 and 우 kind of separated, distinguished is a challenge for many of them. So they often sound like 올려요. So when it's 어울려요. When they are supposed to say, 그 옷 잘 어울려요. Many of my Korean American friends who grew up speaking mainly English, all of them say, 잘 어울려요. It's something, it's a kind of tendency that it's a pattern that I see. Okay, so here, I'm not doing this to go over like 100 individual words, but these are really good examples. I want to give you like general practical tips and also how to approach this. So I've made some notes here. So we've already warmed up enough, but here's some examples. 발음 더 연습해 보실까요? 연습해 봐요. Let's type it like that. Let's compare these two. 떡 and 턱. 떡 and 턱. This is the last portion of our warm-up, and then we'll go over to how to distinguish maybe confusing sounds and distinguish them. Okay, can you pronounce everything like after me? 떡, rice cake. 턱 is your chin or jaw. 턱. 턱 is both chin or jaw. So Korean speakers, when they learn English, they have to learn two words for 턱 because it can be here or the whole thing. 턱, 떡 and 턱. 포로리님 한국어 선생님이신가 봐요. 톡투미인 코리안 보면서 한국어를 외국인한테 가르치는데 도움 많이 됩니다. 감사합니다. 봐주셔서 감사하고요. 도움이 된다니 기쁘네요. So 떡 and 턱. And here's if you were able to do this really easily, here's a sentence for you. 떡이 딱딱해서 턱이 아파요. 떡이 딱딱해서 턱이 아파요. So you're chewing on some rice cake and it's hard, so your jaw hurts. So 떡이 딱딱해서 턱이 아파요. So if you want to practice, if you want to pick a sentence to practice with for the rest of the day or week, you can say 떡이 딱딱해서 턱이 아파요. And try not to sound like 턱이 탁탁해서 떡이 아파요. Or 떡이 탁탁해서 떡이 딱딱해서 턱이 아파요. So that's one sentence you can look at. And just a warm up, okay? 발리, 빨리, 파리. Bali in Indonesia. 빨리, quickly, in a hurry. 파리, a fly, a house fly, or Paris in France. So 발리 and 파리. So let's say 발리 and 파리 are both like place names. So 발리, 빨리, 파리. 빨리 오세요. Come quickly. 파리 오세요. Come to Paris. 발리 오세요. Come to Bali. So here I prepared some sentences. 발리 갈 거예요. 빨리 갈 거예요. 파리 갈 거예요. So, can you distinguish between these three? Let's say it quickly together. Number one, 발리 갈 거예요. Number two, 빨리 갈 거예요. Number three, 파리 갈 거예요. So this is number one, number two, and I'm going to say one of these, and I want you to guess what I am saying. Okay? Okay, I'm going to say one of these phrases, and you need to guess what I'm saying. 발리 갈 거예요. What did I say? Which one did I say? Can you guess? Hello everybody who's coming in a little late right now. 안녕하세요. Thanks for joining. Did I say number one? Am I going to Indonesia, or am I going quickly, or am I going to France? All right, interesting. So everybody got either one or two. Nobody's saying that I said 파리 갈 거예요, which is good, which is really good news to begin with. I actually said specifically number one, 발리 갈 거예요. 발리 갈 거예요. I did not say 빨리 갈 거예요. So from this kind of example, this test example, you can see that, oh, okay, so what you can learn from an example like that is really intuitively you can see, okay, so if he didn't say 빨리 갈 거예요, what would he sound like if he were to say number two, like 빨리 갈 거예요. So pitch is higher. 더 높은 소리가 나죠. 피치가 더 높아요. 그래서 빨리 갈 거예요. A little stronger. So 빨리 갈 거예요. Let me read 1, 2, 3 side by side. Number one, 발리 갈 거예요. Number two, 빨리 갈 거예요. Number three, 파리 갈 거예요. So So it's not the most logical sentence in the world, but 빨리 갈 거예요. If I were to say like I'm going to go to Bali quickly, I can say 빨리 갈 거예요. Or 빨리 갈 거예요. 빨리 오세요. If you're in Indonesia and you're like quickly come to Bali, 빨리 오세요. I know it's cold in Korea. Come to Bali quickly. It's warm here. 빨리 오세요. You can say it like that. So I'm going to give you some examples later on, but when you have two pronunciations, two sounds that sound similar to you and you're confused between the two, it really helps to have a parallel comparison between these two sounds. Say this 3 times, they say that one 3 times, or say this one, and then this one twice. It always helps a lot. So that was our warm-up. And is pronunciation important, or how important is it? What do you think? What is your opinion about pronunciation and its importance, its potential importance, or maybe unimportance? What do you think? I personally think pronunciation is really, really important, but you don't have to be stressed about it. Like, there are people in Korea, especially when talking about learning English, because the whole nation, Korean people in general, we have been, for generations, we have been stressing over English education. The English education situation in Korea is not the most ideal or the most perfect that can exist, because it's mostly focused on test preparations only, and people who studied 12 years of English cannot say a word of English when they're in a situation where they need to talk. So there's a lot of controversies and there's a lot of opinion gaps here and there. But in Korea, as a result, people say, hey, you don't really need to be perfect in pronunciation. As long as you can write it, as long as you can say it, it's fine. But I believe it's really important, because the only reason that I think pronunciation is really important is because it's directly linked to your understanding. I think as long as you reach a certain threshold, as long as your pronunciation is not terrible and not too beginner level, it's fine to kind of stop trying too hard at a certain level. As long as your pronunciation is decent enough, you don't have to try to perfect it to perfection. But having good pronunciation will help you understand other people much better, because in most cases, when you hear something and don't understand, but if you read the same thing and understand, it means that you didn't know that this text would sound like that, which means the gap, the lack, is actually caused by your pronunciation deficiency. So as long as you can use pronunciation to connect your reading comprehension ability to listening comprehension ability, it should be enough. So, and there are exceptions, of course. You will see some people who understands everything in a foreign language, they seem to be able to understand everything. But when they speak with accurate grammar, accurate sentence structure and everything, but their pronunciation is not really standard. It means, in most cases, I think it means that they've had a ton of input. So they've overtrained their listening comprehension skills in that manner, but it's kind of off balance. So they can understand pretty much everything, but their pronunciation is not up to par. But in the situation of every learner who's busy, has other things to do, can only spend up to maybe 1 or 2 hours a day, which is a lot, to study. If you up your pronunciation, your listening comprehension will also go up tremendously. Okay, so that is my take on pronunciation, and a lot of people seem to agree that pronunciation is important. And of course, like 포로리님 said in the comments, 억양도 중요해요. Intonation is really key. Okay, so that's that. And I mentioned 발음, 헷갈리는 발음 있을 때 어떻게 연습해요? This is a common question that we get, and I only have maybe a couple of answers to this. 헷갈리는 발음, confusing sounds, confusing pronunciation because they are similar to each other or because they don't exist in your language. Especially when two sounds are really similar, parallel comparison, 병행, 비교 is really, really useful. So let's do that. Okay. 살 is flesh. It's flesh or fat. So you can say 살이 쪘어요, 빠졌어요. 살이 쪘어요. You gained weight or you lost weight. 살이 빠졌어요. 살이 찌다, 빠지다. That's 살. And 쌀 is rice. Okay? 쌀 is rice. So if you say 쌀이 쪘어요, 쌀이 빠졌어요, it doesn't make sense. So 살 and 쌀, when you say these two, how do you distinguish these two? So let me also test you. I'm going to say one of these. 둘 중에 하나를 말해 볼게요. I'm going to pronounce either number one or number two. I want you to guess which one I said, okay? 살. Which one did I say? Did I say number one or number two? I said it just once on purpose. Really interesting. You guys are evenly split between 1 and 2. All right, this is great because if everybody got it correctly, this whole section is not necessary. Okay, so amazing. This is actually, wow, surprising. So I specifically said this word, and that's good news for you because you have something to learn. 살, I said 살. So don't worry if you chose number 2. Okay, so let's do this. Number 1 is please pay close attention. If you were just listening to this and not watching, this is the time to watch this again. So the first word is flash or fat. 살. Repeat after me. 살. 살. And then the next one is 쌀. 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 So what you can do is actually practice with this. 살, 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 쌀. This is not a method that I invented. This is a method that is commonly used in many classes. I'm sure you've done something like this before. 살, 쌀, 살, 살. And 쌀, 살, 살, 살. So let's say this. So assuming that everybody can learn or read Hangul, I'm not going to Romanize anything. So the first one, repeat after me. 살, 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 쌀. The second one, 살, 쌀, 살, 살. The third one, 쌀, 살, 살, 살. Yeah. Hearing one word alone on its own is harder to distinguish between similar sounds than putting them in like one chunk of sounds. So 살, 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 쌀, 살, 쌀, 살, 살, 쌀, 살, 살, 살. Once you do this a few times, many times, it becomes easier. So again, a quiz. I'm going to read one of these 4. Let's say I'm going to also add 살, 살. I'm going to read one of these 4 combinations. You need to guess which one I am reading. Am I reading number 1, 2, 3, or 4? Okay, are you ready? Let's go. 살, 살, 쌀, 살. Which one did I read? Which one was it? I hope everybody gets it. One more time. 살, 살, 쌀, 살. Yeah, everybody got it. Almost everybody. So this is a good practice that you can actually use to practice mutually confusing sounds, similar sounds. Let's do another one with this one. 자다, 차다, 짜다. Everybody did a fantastic job. Number 4 is the correct answer. Yes. So let me read it again. 살, 살, 쌀, 살. And okay, before going over to this combination of this list of words, let me read number 1, 2, 3, 4 one more time. 살, 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 쌀. 살, 쌀, 살, 살. 쌀, 살, 살, 살. 살, 살, 쌀, 살. So after doing this a bunch of times, when you go to any sound on its own, like 쌀, you hear it more clearly. When you hear it like 살, you hear it more clearly. So when you thought the range of the pronunciation of this letter was up to here, you experience this letter, which is like further down, in the range, and you've kind of expanded your expectations for the sound range. So when you come back, you look at the bigger picture, and when it's a sound that stays over here, oh, 살. It's not over there, 쌀. Okay, so 자다 is to sleep. 차다 is to kick or to be cold. Different words, the same spelling. To be salty, 짜다. So 자요, 차요, 짜요. So 자요, 차요, 짜요. I'm going to say one of these three, and I want you to guess. Okay? On its own. Which one am I saying right now? Please take your pick. 차요. Which one did I say? I think this one was easier than the previous quiz. Okay, almost everybody chose number 2. Some people chose number 1. Nobody chose number 3. Interesting. This is also affected by your native language too, like the sounds that exist in your language that you grew up hearing. So I said 차요. 차요. So let's practice together. And after this practice, the ratio of correct answers will go up. So 자요, 자요, 차요, 자요. 자요, 자요, 차요, 자요. 자요, 차요, 자요, 자요. So this is in the sentence form. It's conjugated into the present tense. I sleep, it's cold, it's salty. Okay? And 차요, 자요, 자요, 자요. And you can even do something like this. 차요, 차요, 자요, 차요. So just once, read with me, okay? This one. 자요, 자요, 차요, 자요. 자요, 차요, 자요, 자요. There's more like vocal vibration in 차요. This is CH, 차요. 차요, 자요, 자요, 자요. 차요, 차요, 자요, 자요. And you can go like 자요, 짜요, 자요, 자요. You can use 짜다 also means to squeeze, yes. You can add 짜요 to this and also even do 3. 자요, 차요, 짜요, 자요. Let's practice with this together. 자요, 차요, 짜요, 자요. 자요, 차요, 짜요, 자요. And what we're going to do now is linked to what I'm going to mention in the next segment is say it more quickly. Slowly ramp up the speed. So we're going to read this combination slowly first. 자요, 차요, 짜요, 자요. A little faster. 자요, 차요, 짜요, 자요. Much faster. 자요, 차요, 짜요, 자요. So when you do that, when you're doing it faster, it means it's harder and your tongue and your mouth need to move more quickly and more like, in a more agile way. So it'll help you, it'll prep you for fast spoken scenarios. And also back to what we were saying, when you can do this yourself, again, when you can pull this off yourself, saying 자요, 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 like that, when someone else says it at a similar level, you understand it. But you can't do it. Your level of being able to pronounce this quickly is here, and somebody says it at this level, there's a wide gap. So you're like, sorry, what did you say? 잘 못 들었어요. 뭐라고 하셨죠? You have to do that. So you need to prepare for fast spoken situations where many sounds are mixed together. Okay, so that was our practice for confusing similar sounds. Next, here is how to improve your Korean pronunciation in general, because when it comes to practicing pronunciation or like studying with a book like this is available on our website at talktomeinkorean.com. How to sound like a native Korean speaker. And it's not all about these confusing sounds or anything like that. There are many rules you have to learn. We'll mention some of them. Like you mentioned many of the words that are difficult for you to pronounce. So there are rules you need to learn, many information like how certain sounds change in conjunction with like other words. So you do have to study with like other areas of Korean pronunciation, just like with any language. But just in general, how do you improve your general pronunciation of the Korean language? This can also apply to other languages. Number one, 있는 그대로 발음하세요. So what it means is 있는 그대로, just as is. What it means is do not compare the sound in the foreign language that you're learning, which is Korean in our case, to the sounds in your language. Forget about your mother tongue. 내 모국어는 좀 잊어버리고 한국어 발음 그대로 발음하시면 좋을 것 같아요. We get a ton of questions about like something like this. 지읒, is it J or is it Z or CH? Like we get questions like that. 기억, is it G or K? And we can of course like guide people in a broad direction, but the correct answer, the most correct answer is 지읒 is 지읒, 기억 is 기억. That's it, right? So 있는 그대로 발음하시면 제일 좋아요. Just try to mimic the sound as closely as possible. And 천천히 발음하다가 더 빠르게 연습하시면 좋아요. So start slow, say something slowly, and then a little more quickly, a little more quickly, a little more quickly, and then you can come back down to normal conversation level and everything goes by slow. Like when you think of the movie or cartoon characters, Quicksilver or the Flash, who move really quickly, right? To them, bullets are slow. To them, everything's slow, because they have the ability to move faster than everything else in the world. So they're like, okay. So when you've trained yourself to say everything quickly, 빠르게 읽어보는 연습을 하고 나면 다시 천천히 발음했을 때 아주 쉬워요. 그래서 두 번째는 천천히 발음하고 더 빠르게 하는 거고요. Number 3 is when you are trying to pronounce or practice pronouncing Korean sentences or words, 더 크게 발음해 보세요. 더 크게. Say everything more loudly than necessary. This will help you tremendously because it's harder. 발음을 조용히 작은 소리로 그냥 이렇게 천천히 조용히 발음하는 거는 쉬워요. 천천히 작은 소리로 발음하는 것은 쉬워요. Let's read this together actually for your own practice. So please read this slowly and in a soft voice, in a quiet voice. 천천히 작은 소리로 발음하는 것은 쉬워요. Are you doing this with me? One more time. 천천히. 천천히 작은 소리로 발음하는 것은 쉬워요. But then when you have to say it quickly or more loudly, which you will have to do in a real life situation, it's more challenging. So you don't want to train with an easier game and then be thrown into the real world and tackle something more challenging than your training session. You want to train more like with a tougher challenge and then go into the real world with an easier task. So let's read this sentence. 천천히. It's the sentence meaning. I didn't give you the meaning. It means it is easy to pronounce things slowly in a soft voice. So let's read the whole thing, but loudly if you can, if you're in a place where you can sound this out, and quickly. 천천히 작은 소리로 발음하는 것은 쉬워요. More quickly. 천천히 작은 소리로 발음하는 것은 쉬워요. A little more quickly. 천천히 작은 소리로 발음하는 것은 쉬워요. If you can do that, A, you will pretty much understand whoever says it in Korea because you can say it yourself as loudly, as quickly as the other person because no one will talk like that. And then 2, you will have more confidence because you know you're capable of, with a little bit of practice time given, you are capable of doing this. So 천천히 작은 소리로 발음하는 것은 쉬워요. So do you do it like that? I could try to do it even quicker, but I will not. And number 4, these number 4 and 5, these are really important but subtle. 처음부터 자신 있게 말해도 괜찮아요. So many people, they feel like they're not ready to speak, but it's okay to say like even if you just know 안녕하세요, 감사합니다, 저는 현우예요, 현우예요. If you say these 3 things, if you know only these 3 things, it's okay to say 안녕하세요 confidently, even if your pronunciation is a little off. 안녕하세요, it's okay because it's a gesture, it shows confidence and the other person knows that you are passionate about the language, you're willing to communicate in the language, then more so than someone who's like 안녕하세요, 안녕하세요, like 안녕하세요 and then stop. So 처음부터 자신 있게 말해도 괜찮아요. And also here is something that I also mentioned in a previous video. 발음 오류와 easier words. Okay, let's say 발음 오류, pronunciation error. accent or 억양의 차이를 생각해 보면 좋아요. So this number 4 and 5 are closely linked. So let me try to put it in a clear way. So if you say one word slightly off, if you pronounce one word slightly off. So for example, earlier, 저 이번 달에, 저 다음 주에 파리에 갈 거예요. So let's say your pronunciation ended up being like 저 다음 주에 파리에 갈 거예요. Even if you say like 저 다음 주에, like for some reason your 저 always sound like 저 may be affected by your native language, or maybe you're just starting to learn the language. Like, I mean, this sentence is not super easy, but 저 다음 주에 파리에 갈 거예요. I'm going to Paris next week is what you want to say, but you end up sounding like 저 다음 주에 파리에 갈 거예요. Is it a problem? Not at all, because whoever hears this sentence will understand you perfectly. Every single one that hears this sentence will understand you perfectly because the context will help you. So what I'm saying is, when you look at this one word, 저, and compare like 저 and 쳐, yes, saying 쳐 for 저, which is I, was clearly incorrect and wrong. But when it's inside, when an incorrect pronunciation is inside a certain context, clear context or sentence or message, it's not a problem, because overall, if your sentences are fluid, if your messages are clear, it will start being considered as an accent that you have. 저 다음 주에 파리에 갈 거예요. And even if you add more like aspirated sounds like 갈 거예요. Again, to make my point a little clear, here, 거 and 거, saying 거 for 거 is incorrect, clearly wrong. Saying 칼 for 칼 is clearly wrong. But if you say everything in a clear context, 발음 하나하나 보면 틀린 거 맞지만 문장으로 아니면 명확한 문맥 속에서 말하면 괜찮아요. 저 다음 주에 파리에 갈 거예요. It's fine. And as long as your messages are understandable, everybody will be like, oh, he has an accent, but that's not a problem. I have an accent in English. That's not a problem. I have an accent. I have a typical Korean person accent in Japanese, I believe, but that's fine. I can communicate with Japanese people fine. I probably have a Korean person accent in Chinese. That's fine too. I can communicate with Chinese people as well. So again, number 4 and 5 are closely related. Okay, so that's that. And some additional elements. So as you progress through your Korean pronunciation practice, you're studying with a book like this, or you are studying with other materials, our courses, which is available on our website, by the way, a reminder. You will encounter words that sound a little different from what you had expected. So for example, when you see this word for the first time, even though it's a fairly easy word, you learn that it's pronounced like 같이, and you can be like, how am I supposed to know that this 갓 plus E is not 같이, but 같이? And when 같아요 is pronounced as 같아요, why so different? Why irregular like this? How am I supposed to be able to pronounce everything with confidence if I don't know these things? Well, my answer is don't worry, because you just have to encounter hundreds of examples like this and then learn one by one. This is inevitable. You will, if you don't know that 갓 and E are pronounced as 같이, it's inevitable for you to pronounce it as 같이 at first. Somebody will be like, you mean 같이? And then you learn. So don't worry too much. Okay? 다른 요소들이 많지만 괜찮아요. 그냥 하시면 됩니다. And then lastly, the last point that I want to make, so we've talked about several elements. So if you're joining us just now or watching this as a recording in the middle of it, please rewind and watch the previous segments because they all are kind of linked. And the last point that I'm trying to make is that for your confidence in speaking, you also need a lot of input. You need to listen to a lot of stuff. You need to read a lot of stuff, because a lot of the confidence that you feel when you write something or when you say something comes from your memory. What I mean is your experience as well. Like, okay, which one is more natural, this sentence or this sentence? When you're torn between two choices, in most cases, as a language learner, you have to rely on your records in your brain. Like, have I seen this kind of sentence more, or have I seen this kind of sentence more or at all? When your brain tells you, I've never seen this being used like this, then you will lean toward this one. So kind of like that, you need to have a lot of data piled up in your head. So listen to a lot of stuff, read a lot of stuff, and then one story using this sentence, okay, oh, this is interesting. You've kind of acknowledged that here. And then in a Korean drama line, you also saw a similar sentence. Oh, okay, so that's used like that. You kind of acknowledged it, observed it passively or actively. And then you heard a song and has a line that goes like that. And 3 instances together. You've never been tested for your knowledge about that particular grammar point, but because you have a lot of input, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's how you say it. And pronunciation is also the same. I'm pretty sure because I heard these 4 different people saying it like that, I can talk like that. So we have a lot of materials for you on our website at talktomekorean.com. PBIM Chat is a great course that you can take. We have 100 episodes of Korean conversations between native speakers. We have Korean subtitles, and you can, the transcripts, and you can listen to conversations about very, very diverse topics. Suda time, 25 great conversations that you can listen to and watch. And we also have a lot of Korean vlogs, natural listening materials here on our YouTube channel, also as well as on our Talk to Me in 100% Korean YouTube channel. If you don't know that channel, please go check that out as well. Okay, so that's it for today's live class, everybody, about Korean pronunciation. I really enjoyed the quiz segment that we did earlier. Everybody did a fantastic job. 정말 여러분, 한국어 발음 오늘 이야기한 내용대로 하시면 자신 있게 할 수 있어요. And I love this comment. Chili's language shenanigans. Oh, it's scrolling up. I wanted to feature this comment right here. Yep, I got you. This is why Talk to Me in Korean is the best. So much material to listen to while reading transcripts. 정말 감사합니다. 여러분, 웹사이트 많이 놀러와 주시고 talktomeinkorean.com. We are on Instagram and Twitter as well. You can find us with our handle TTMIK. And yeah, connect with us and also share. These days, almost daily, I'm asking on Twitter what you studied on that day, like what you studied with also on that day. So if you want to share your Korean studying progress or what you studied with, like as a daily record of your study journey, please come to Twitter and then share some pictures with us, and then also tag us on Instagram. We'll check it out. Alright, 정말 감사합니다. 그러면 우리 다음 시간에 또 만나요. 감사합니다. 바이바이.